Okay, so let's just get into this. An online business essentially is three things working in congruency with one another, and this would be an online or a digital product. That's one, and then a landing page, and then getting views. Another way to put this is just marketing. And don't let people confuse you or anything like this. These are the only three components that go into an online business. So you get views, people go to your landing page, and then people buy or sign up to your digital product. That's all it is. Now, to make an online business and one that can do pretty well, I'm going to go over exactly how to do that. And I'll start with the digital product. So usually in all of these videos, I build a business and use that as an example. Today, we're going to be using my own business because I wasn't able to get around to doing that this week. But let's just go over a digital product really quick. This could be many things. It could be a community, it could be an ebook, downloadable files, a course. It could also be like a consultation. So people essentially just call you and you consult them over whatever niche that you're in. And how to come up with a digital product. I'm not talking about one of these, but specifically the niche is the first thing. It could just be anything that you love. If you click this playlist up here, I've built a business centered around pickup basketball, magic tricks, someone who loves to travel. But it could you could build an online business centered around anything that you love. The second way to build an online business is to find an expert in a particular niche. So maybe you know somebody that's an expert in something, you can link up with them. And then the third way to come up with a digital product is to just do research and find a niche that is missing a particular product. So in one of my videos, I made a business that was how to scale a 6-figure a year cleaning company and work for yourself. So you essentially could research, hey, you're looking into cleaning business, you see, well, there's not a digital product here, or maybe there is one of these digital products here, but there's an opening in the market to add another one. So these are the main three ways that you can come up with the niche of your digital product. Now, if I was to rank these from hardest to easiest, I think a course would be maybe the most difficult. Ebook is extremely easy. Files, it's going to depend on what the files are that you're sending. Files could be a course, although I'm going to go over this a little later. I'd say a community and consultation, these are the easiest online businesses. A consultation would just be you link a schedule app to your website, so you get an email or a text when it's time for you to talk on the phone with somebody and consult them. So that's pretty much a digital product, essentially. And you can use ChatGPT to come up with a lot of this. So you can use ChatGPT to write a whole course that you can go out and film in any niche. It'll come up with all the modules. So if you're linking up with an expert, you just use ChatGPT to write the course and you go out with the expert and you go and film it. If you're working with an expert, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but you could just cut the revenue 70-30. So essentially, you're making all the money, or you're making 70% and you're doing the work on the back end. You would link up with the expert to film the course and run social media. Ebook, you could have ChatGPT write an entire ebook for you and come up with the ebook cover. So there's ways to use AI in each one of these processes. So let me just show you my business, the Blueprint Unlocked, and we're going to get into landing pages and marketing soon here. But I'm not going to take you into the back end because that's for members. Again, you could sign up for free. This is a nice little tag right here. I'm going to get to that later. But yeah, so what my business is and this is going to make your digital product better and add more value, because at the end of the day, depending on what your niche is, it doesn't really matter. You want to add as much value as possible. The Blueprint has multiple courses, like 2 or 3. It has a bunch of resources, and it has a community inside of it. So all the members and myself can communicate with one another, and I can help people out through this process. Also, there's weekly private Q&As. So a good digital product, or a good online business rather, should include multiple digital products, because why not? People, especially in my business, teaching people this stuff, people learn in different ways. Some people might like reading text. Some people might like a more hands-on approach. Some people might just like watching content I make about how to build a business. So I would say if you're doing an online business, the easiest would be a community consultation. If you're doing something like me, try to find ways to include a bunch of these different aspects. It's going to add value and help out your customer. Just give them value. So yeah, these are the three things, but you also have to build the business. And creating a digital product is the fourth or fifth step that I teach people. So I'll just jump into how to build the business real quick. So the first thing is this right here. You need to find a niche. The second thing is come up with a business name. And I'm going through this stuff really quick. If you go to my business playlist, I go through each one of these specifically. After you have your business name, you want to go ahead and create an LLC. And then a business bank account. Again, I teach people how to do exactly all of this. I mentor them. It's free. Then 5 would be your digital product. Although it's never a bad idea to have your product in mind before going into it. So if you decide to do this research thing, that can really help you out. But yeah, you need to have a niche before a business name. You need a business name before an LLC. And you want to have a business bank account set up so you can start making money, and then you're going to build out your digital product. But these are just the steps that make the most sense. There's nothing stopping you from going out and filming your course first or writing your ebook or whatever you want to do. The 6th step would be a landing page and then marketing. But if we're going to go through this, I would like to go through this through these steps. So let's just go to a landing page. Again, we'll use my business as an example. So a landing page, really the first thing that you see, it has to make sense. Learn how to make money with your own online business, mentorship, video lessons, blah, blah, blah. Makes sense there. And there's different things you can do as far as enticing people to buy in. So for me, I took a versus approach on my landing page. So it's the blueprint versus online courses. So I'm not an online course. There's online courses within the blueprint, but this is a mentorship. And I really decided to create this after being scammed by online courses. And I think most people know at this point online courses are scams for the simple idea that you can't just give someone an online course and expect them not to have questions. Like, especially if you're building a business, an online business, you need a hands-on approach. These YouTube videos are just like, I'm giving you enough information where you could go out and do it on your own. But it's just for people that really want assurance that they're going to get this thing done. Anyway, you need a mentorship. So I took a versus approach, the blueprint versus online courses. So I use that in a lot of my copy, join. Unlike online courses, learn. Online courses reteach free videos on YouTube. We individually guide our members. So I'm taking a contrasting approach. Online courses are done the moment you pay. We're not done until you see results. What makes the blueprint stand out? The blueprint versus online course. So I took a versus approach, and that's just the way that I decided to market my business for now. I mean, things are going to change. I'm going to be making changes, again, to add value to the members in the blueprint. But yeah, that's kind of the approach I took. And also my business playlist, I go super in depth on landing pages. Going back to the digital product, your digital product and your landing page or website are kind of interconnected with one another. So let's say your digital product was just sending files, then that would just be people click buy, they get an email or a link to a shared folder, and it's pretty easy. Something like what I do is there's a back end. So what you're seeing here is the landing page, but there's a completely back end of the website where, as I said, I'm adding all these other elements of online business and like a community plus the resources plus private Q&A. So I built a whole back end. So it changes the nature of my landing page of my website. People come here to the vault. Then they click Start My Learning if they're a member, and it would take them to inside the back end of the website where they can learn and I can communicate with them. So depending on, again, what your digital product is, it's going to change your landing page. The way I see it is like, not every landing page is a website, but every website essentially has a landing page. Again, this is my landing page that's always being worked on. I'm always trying to make it better, right? But it's a website because it has a login and a back end and everything like that. So those, again, you need the digital product, you need the landing page, and then the last thing would be views and marketing. Now, I'm just going to do some basic math here just to show you. Like if you put in 15 to 20 minutes, let's just say 15 to 30 minutes every day, after you build your digital product, after you build your landing page, if you put in 15 to 30 minutes every day in 1 year, you could be easily doing $10,000 a month. Easily, with just 15 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to explain how you can do that. Again, this goes back to the views thing. As you can see now, my subscriber count is about 1,300 on YouTube and around, 4,200 on Instagram, and I'm just getting started with TikTok. So if we say my total followers right now across Instagram and YouTube are around 6,000, I'm able to generate money and get leads with just this small amount of people, right? So keep that in mind. Again, 15, 20 minutes, 1 year. So if you click up here, I did a 9-day vlog of me using this site called Opus Clip to chop up my long form content and make shorts with me. And I would have this AI make me 3 shorts every day, and then they were being posted on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And within those 9 days, I generated 40,000 views. Again, if you don't believe me, go watch the playlist. I show that. So I was able to generate 40,000 views. Now, if we took 365 days in the year and divided it by these 9, you get 40.5. Okay, so if we took this number and then multiplied it by the 40,000, you get about 1.6 million. So the AI shorts that Opus Clip was making for me were not that good, to be honest. But it's a guaranteed lock-in at 40,000 views in 9 days. And again, I was spending about 15 to 30 minutes doing that. And if you took it to the end of the year, if I just kept doing the same thing, I'd be guaranteed 1.6 million views. This is also taking into account that none of the videos go semi-viral, because if I was to do this 9 over the course of the year, it'd be something like 3,200 shorts published by the end of the year. And based on my experience with social media, I'm like 99% sure a few of those would get 100,000 plus views. A couple years ago, I'd started an Instagram account, and within, I think it was 3 or 4 months, I had gotten like 1.5 million views because I had a couple videos go semi-viral. One hit 400,000 and I had a few in the 90,000 range, and then it just built up from there. So this is a guaranteed 1.6 million views, taking into account that no video, no short or reel out of these 3,200 goes semi-viral. One or a few of them would, for sure, with this amount of volume. But the average growth amount across all platforms with followers under 50,000 is 3% growth every month. So if you apply this, and that's just another fact, this is just the truth. So I'll say that again. With channels and profiles with 50,000 subscribers, followers, and under, there is a 3% monthly growth. So if we took this 1.6 million and applied this 3% growth, which is just the fact, you can go look it up, it's just what it is. This number comes out to be about 1.9 million views. Guaranteed, again, 15 to 20 minutes just using AI. If you don't believe me, you can go watch the playlist. So you're getting 1.9 million views over this year. Now, if we then took the average of viewer to follower ratio, the average is between 0.25 and 1. Again, this is just another factual number that you can look up. And what this essentially means is 1 out of every 100 viewers to 400 viewers becomes a follower or a subscriber. So 1% being good means 1 out of every 100 people that watch subscribe to you or follow you. And then 0.25, quarter of a percent, would be 1 out of every 400 viewers. So if we took the average of average of average and, just hope that you didn't make the worst content ever in the dumbest niche ever, which would be closer to this mark. I can also say, just as a fact, a guarantee, that this YouTube channel that I'm doing right now, I believe is like 0.47. So it's going to be the number that I'm using in this video. I'm going to round it up to 50%. So let's just say 1 out of 200 people who watch your content decide to follow or subscribe. I'm gonna have to look this up real quick on ChatGPT because I forget the exact number. If 1 out of every 200 people subscribes, how many subs would one get with 1.9 million views? Okay, so with the math, you would end the year with 9.5 thousand followers or subscribers. And again, this is just factual math that you can go look up online, and it's all based on doing the 15 to 30 minutes a day. So if you spent 15 to 30 minutes a day, this number is guaranteed, Again, unless you're making the worst content in the worst niche. And if we even went with the worst numbers here, you would be looking at 4.25 thousand. And as I've explained, this is around the number I have. I think I wrote that down somewhere. This is around the number I have currently, and this is enough to start making money online. I'm living proof of that. So if you ended the year with 9.5 thousand, rest assured this is enough to sell to. If you can sell to 10% of this audience, which is, again, like an average number, I think it would be pretty good to sell at 10%. But as you're going to see, even if you sold at a 5%, you're still going to be doing pretty well. So 10% of 9,500 is 950 people that you could sell to at the end of the year. Again, even if we took 5%, divided this into 2, 425 people or 75? I don't know. I'm not very good at math. No, it's 475. Yeah, if you do this 5%, I think it would be 475 people that you're able to sell to. Now, if we go back up here and look at our digital product, this is going to come down to, as I said, making a course is like the harder thing to do because it takes time. You have to go out, you have to film something. But if we, the range of courses is so varied. But I would say 200 to 600 is like low range for a course, actually. I've seen courses go for $6,500 for some bullshit you can learn online. But let's just say that your course is $650 on the lower end of a course. And again, with this, you want to add value. So I would add these different elements. So you're actually adding value and you're able to help your customers. So if we take $650 and we multiplied it by this 950, this number that you're essentially guaranteed, this is where things get pretty good. So if you took that number, $650, the price of your online course or online product, times the amount that you're selling at, at a 1.9 million views, 950 people will buy. I think that's pretty reasonable. Well, I know it is based on just the facts and the math. You're looking at a yearly total of $617,000. So that's essentially how an online business works. Again, you can use Opus Clip, have AI make your shorts for you. I don't even know where I wrote it, but spend your 15 to 30 minutes a day just having AI cut stuff up, posting it, go through these 6 steps, find a niche based on these 3 components here. Get a business name, create your LLC, business bank account, make your digital product, create your landing page. And I also say landing page and website, they're becoming easier and easier to use AI to create a website that can convert for you. And then, for that, you're going to want to get testimonials. And if you go through my playlist, I show how to do all of this stuff in detail, in depth. but I've certainly given you enough information here where hopefully you understand how an online business works and you can actually go out and do it. So I hope you like this video. It's not as detailed as some of my other ones, but I think it's good for beginners who can just, wrap your head around this and be like, oh, okay, this is how it works. So thanks for watching. See you next time.